So let's get back to the campaign, because speaking of someone who needs to be loyal is whomever he chooses as his vice president. There's a lot of people who want to play identity politics. I understand that. He needs to choose a woman. He needs to choose someone of color, because this is what we're going to do. You've been involved in, whether it's Nixon or Reagan, Dole, Bush, Kemp. So you've seen this process up close several times. If he asks your opinion, and I'm not just talking qualities, who are the types, the names of people that would serve him well as vice president?
Well, let me say a couple things. President Nixon once told me that in trying to select a running mate, don't look for somebody who can help you. Just choose somebody who doesn't hurt you. I think there's a couple criteria. First of all, you need somebody who absolutely has the depth of experience, the judgment, the temperament, the track record to actually be able to run the country if, God forbid, for some reason, Donald Trump could not finish his term. That is first and foremost. Secondarily, the days of ticket balancing are over. You need somebody who shares the president's vision. You need somebody who's a non-interventionist in terms of our foreign policy, not an isolationist, but a non-interventionist, someone who is committed to peace, somebody who will protect the right to life, somebody who will protect Second Amendment rights, somebody who worked very hard to close our border and who's committed to, yes, deporting the millions of illegals here, causing a great danger to our nation. So you need somebody who's committed to the America First agenda. Then and only then should I think you look at the political considerations. Now, I think things have changed. This used to be done geographically. So Tom Dewey was the Republican governor of New York, and he chose the Republican governor of California for geographic balance. That's no longer important. Because of the mass-based communications of the internet, everybody is everyone else's neighbor. You need somebody that also, and you will particularly appreciate this, who is sure-footed. Someone who's not going to make a mistake their very second day on the campaign trail. Someone who's not going to be contradicting their running mate on the other end of the country. Somebody who understands the job of a vice presidential candidate is a supporting role. It is not a leading role. So you need somebody who has that kind of experience. Now that would indicate that you need somebody who's run for president before. Dr. Ben Carson meets that criteria. Vivek Ramaswamy meets that criteria. Tulsi Gabbard, an independent who I find very interesting, meets that criteria. It's not the same. Running for governor of a small Midwestern state is not the same as running for president of the United States, or in this case, vice president of the United States. Now, if you can find somebody who brings you a new constituency and helps you reach voters that you don't already have, well, that's the toughest part. But if it can be done, I think in this case, it's crucial. In all of these polls, you see that Donald Trump is leading, but he's always just slightly below 50%. And the electorate is very tight. There are very, very few Americans who don't have an opinion of both Donald Trump and Joe Biden. So the pool of undecideds is very small. The obvious place to make inroads are among African Americans, among Hispanic Americans, and most importantly, among women. Now, I think the candidate who's going to get you the most African Americans and the most Hispanic Americans turns out to be Donald J. Trump himself. And it's an economic message. It's an opportunity-based message. Just compare how things were. What was the black unemployment rate under Trump? I mean,
right. And remember the saying that what have you got to lose?
Right, exactly. And he gave us criminal justice reform, which, in all honesty, I had wished that his 2020 campaign had talked more about, because it is among his greatest achievements. It was Joe Biden, by the way, who wrote the law that gave us the harsh mandatory penalties for the first time nonviolent crime of possession of small amounts of drugs that has been used disproportionately on people of color. These people belong in drug treatment programs, not in incarceration. They're not a danger to anyone else other than perhaps themselves. So I think you then have to look at the voter group where we've had the most difficulty, where we haven't made the necessary gains, and that is women. So I guess all things being equal, I would choose a qualified woman running mate. Beyond that, I'm not endorsing any candidate. I'm for whoever Donald Trump is for. My advice to him will remain private. I've talked about, they're all acceptable to me by and large. People lose sight of the fact that the 12th Amendment of the Constitution does not allow you to have a candidate who's a legal resident of the same state.
Same state.
So it takes people I like Byron Donalds.
Byron Donalds.
Very good man. Very good man. A future governor, a future senator, maybe a future president. Who knows? But you can't have two Floridians. No, Donald Trump is not going to change his legal residence back to New York. God knows.
I've said the same thing. You think he's going back to the land of Tish James and Alvin Bragg? No way.
No way.